Today's selection for the first Sunday of Advent is from Paul's letter to the churches in Rome, but the exact date of its writing is unknown, only that it was during a period when the Christians in Rome were constantly in conflict. They're in conflict with other groups, or being expelled from the city, or just being outright persecuted. And this part of Paul's letter is giving assurances that things will be all right in the end, that their deliverance is coming. The Christians in Rome were in a precarious position, their future determined by the whims of the emperor. But Paul assures them that the night is gone and the day is near. They are to put on the armor of light and keep the faith, and they will be saved. This message from Paul gave them great hope for their future. And Paul's words made him an agent of hope to the early church. And at other times of hardship in the early church, passages like this, speaking of what is to come, are meant to give people hope. For example, the book of Revelation gave hope to the early church as it underwent its darkest period of persecution and repression. And those words gave people in a horrible situation hope for the future. Now, to us today, apocalypses look horrific and not something we would look at really at all favorably. However, to that community back then, where they expect persecutions and where they expect to have a difficult time living, apocalypses looked pretty good because it gives them hope. It promises them a change from how they have been living. The persecutions would stop, and then they could just live their lives and things would be better for them. Now, you cannot have a good apocalypse without hope. And you cannot have hope without a lack of contentment in some way. Hope is the expectation that something good will happen. It can give us strength to survive, it can inspire us to make things better, and it can show us the way out of the darkness. And there are many types of hope. Now, one of my favorite songs is "Give Me Shelter" by the Rolling Stones. And if you were here earlier today, you might have heard it being played from Dave's office. I really like the tune, and it's also my ringtone. However, I did not even know or was certain what the lyrics were until much later. I was surprised when I looked them up. It was full of negativity, but it ended with hope, starting with a storm threatening my very life today. If I don't get some shelter, I'm going to fade away. There's a fire sweeping our very streets today, burns like a red coal carpet. And the refrain, war is just a shot away. But then it all changed in the last stanza. Love is just a kiss away. And it keeps repeating that. It's hope among all that despair. One thing that I do on the side is I make photographic and sculptural art, and then I bring my entire workshop to conventions and festivals where people dress up in costumes, like Renaissance fairs or anime conventions or steampunk events. And the people there, they usually make their own outfits and props. And they do them in the safety of their own homes. But then when they take their creations out in the public, stuff breaks. And my workshop is there to fix these breaks. These people have put a lot of effort into what they made, and are far from home with little resources on them, and when their stuff breaks, they're feeling devastated and vulnerable. They come to my booth with their broken creations, and since the company running the event takes care of my expenses, I can fix their creations free of charge. Over the years, I have glued a ballerina into her outfit just before her performance. I built a controller for a Jim Henson-style dragon from scratch right before its demonstration. And I rebuilt things that I don't actually know what they were. But they were important to their creators. And the looks on their faces when my crew and I put their creations back together again and don't charge them for it is worth it. We give them hope. Granted, what has happened to them is not so important in the grand scheme of things, but in that moment, to them, it's the only thing that matters. Years ago, I served in AmeriCorps. And when you sign up to serve, you do so knowing that you're not there to make money. But as our motto goes, it's to get things done. Our weekly stipend was a joke, and our team made fun of it. But we all hoped that we made it to payday before our bank accounts ran out. We hoped to make rent. We hoped that nothing happened to us that required money that we did not have. And this is in Worcester, Mass, where they don't really pave the roads. I went through too many tires. Even though we spent a lot of time in a place where we hoped to make it through each week, we were able to bring hope to those we served, and seeing the results of our work made it worth it. Our team helped elementary school students who had fallen through the cracks. We helped them to succeed in school. And we built houses with Habitat for Humanity, provided blankets and foodstuffs for families in need, and organized educational and artistic after-school programs for kids and teens in very unsavory neighborhoods. And even though we were in need of hope, we were able to bring hope to others. In this Advent season, we celebrate the coming of 4 gifts that Jesus will bring us. Hope is the first of these. Jesus brings us hope, the big hope, the assurance that no matter what happens, as long as we follow him, he will lead us to safety, but also the everyday hopes. Jesus calls us to serve one another, and sometimes that serving can bring hope to someone's life. It can be any type of hope and can be done in any way. And sometimes we may never know what the effect we've had on someone in their life, but that shouldn't stop us. Whether it is a hope that comes from an everyday lack of something, a major life event, or the darkest place where someone can be, hope can inspire, hope can save a day, or even save a life. We can provide hope to someone, knowingly or not. We just have to be on the lookout for those who are in need and respond to them and give them hope.